Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for your great support always. I'm so grateful for your continued support to this channel. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Now, as I speak, I have seen something that has raised eyebrows across the Republic of Kenya. Now, the CS of Treasury, John Mbadi, they have decided now to drop the dollar currency, and now they're going to use yuan currency. And this yuan is for Chinese, or rather from China. And US, of course, the way you can pronounce it, US dollar. Now, Kenyans, at the moment, William Ruto, through the CS of Treasury, they have decided to withdraw the US dollar, and they are going to use the Chinese currency. What does it mean in between the Kenya-US relationship and, of course, the Kenya-Chinese or Kenya-China relationship? I want us to understand why this decision is not only going to affect Kenya, not only going to affect Kenya negatively, but again, is going to bring some repercussions here and there. But before we do, as you always do, ensure you like the video. Like the video, you automatically support the work that I'm doing in this channel, because sometimes you watch and you forget liking the video. So this is just a reminder. As you watch, please consider liking the video. Thank you so much for that like. Now, after liking the video, Kenyans, I want us to have a constructive conversation. One, at the moment William Ruto is withdrawing the US dollar, and now we are adopting the yuan currency from China. Are you seeing that we are going to be affected? Yes, we must be having our decisions. We must have our choices. What we want to do as a country, because remember, we are independently thinking what we want. But even though we want to adopt the yuan currency, and so they are going even to use the yuan currency to pay the gauge railway loan, are you sure that this is going to, of course, nurture us? Are you sure that this is going to give us a conducive environment, for example, to do business? Because remember, the US currency is so strong compared to the yuan currency. You cannot compare the US currency with the yuan currency. One, we are likely to be affected by the dollar currency at the moment we are going to fully adopt the yuan currency. And despite of them arguing that them paying the yuan, them paying loans from China using the yuan currency, that is going to give them at least that conducive environment to use the low amount than using the US dollar. Okay, they might argue that way. But the question is, do you know that bigger percentage of everything we do in our country, we usually use the US dollar, you know, and we usually don't use the yuan currency. Even today, if you go into a certain market or in Nairobi, just go in Nairobi or Kisumu or Mombasa, then ask you want to buy something with the yuan currency, you will understand that you might not use that yuan currency. But today, as we speak, you can go to Kisumu, you can go to Mombasa, you can go to Nakuru, you can go to Eldoret, you can go to Nairobi and still use the US dollar, you know. And again, they are bringing some block that if you want to buy something, and of course, you are having the yuan currency, you can be blocked not accessing some goods that you want. So when you look at this rhetoric story that they are this narrative that they are bringing, we must accept that yes, the US dollar is so expensive that when we use the US dollar paying our loans, we might find ourselves paying a lot of money. But on the same note, you must ask yourself, what is the benefit we are going to get adopting the yuan currency? Because if this is not going to be, of course, looked at keenly, then we are likely to be affected. Those who are doing businesses, those who are maybe exporting and importing some goods, we must have some disadvantages and some consequences there. So when I saw John MBANDI coming out to raise such kind of issues, I asked myself, okay, is this the scenario we are in? Is this what we want to do as a country? Are we sure that this is what we want? Because I'm not sure if this is going to assist us even when we look at our economy. Our economy is being run through when you look at the way the Kenya shillings versus dollar, you find that the dollar is so strong and the Kenya shillings is struggling to maintain their presence in the market. And most of the time, you will see that we usually complain that the dollar is so high, and now our shilling is coming down. So you find that when you do business with dollar, we are being affected. We are being affected by the presence of the dollar in the market. At the moment, we are going to adopt the yuan, and this is a currency from China. Are you sure that we are going to adopt this currency across the board? That is what we must ask ourselves. And if we are not going to ask ourselves, then we are going to be affected. Not only those who are importing goods, exporting goods, maybe they are just planning to use that currency to pay their loans in China. Are you getting that? But let them not adopt. Because remember, we are now trying to understand that there is a problem in between William Ruto's administration and, of course, the US. Because you cannot tell me that US is going to be comfortable while the Kenya government, they are preferring to use the yuan currency to pay their loans in China. Remember, US expect Kenya to continue adopting that currency. You do understand when Donald Trump warned these countries that were trying to adopt other currencies and dropping the US dollar, that even these consequences waiting for them might be so little to their country. And some, of course, let us talk about economy, is likely to affect. So let us hope that this yuan currency is going to be adopted by Kenya to pay their loans in China, but not adopting to use this currency across the board. Even if they are going to use it to pay their loans in China, remember we are having consequences, we are having repercussions, we are having the disadvantages, and advantages are so many more. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Drop your opinion at the comment section below. Otherwise, thank you so much because of your great support. Please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing this video. Till we meet in another video.